It's Sunscreen Sunday and we're testing IUNIK's beta-glucan barrier sunscreen. Now, this has beta-glucan, it's got some peptide complexes. Most importantly, why I'm testing this right now is because it's got some barrier supporting ingredients. My barrier is a little irritated at the moment and I wanted to make sure I'm using a sunscreen that is supportive of repair. It's got panthenol, it's got allantoin, and it's also got lactobacillus ferment, and all of these should help with repairing the microbiome and getting my barrier stable to where it needs to be. We're going to get the correct amount of sunscreen in here. So I've got my 1/4 teaspoon ready. We're going to test for white cast finish. We're going to test for how it absorbs. Also, we're going to then test 2 hours later for how the formula is looking under UV camera, whether it's breaking down at all or not, and reapply to see how the reapplication goes, whether it pills, whether there's any extra greasiness or not. So let's get to it. All right, that's me on the UV camera. The only thing I have is skincare on my face right now. I've got my handy dandy 1/4 teaspoon, and let's fill it up and test out the sunscreen. So my goal is to just get sunscreen on my face and then flip it around to see what it looks like before I start rubbing it in for absorption. It's going in very silky feeling. All right, as usual, all I see are my eyes and my teeth. So let's switch over and see what this looks like on screen and how quickly it rubs in. This is what it looks like on my skin, so let's rub it in. All right, first impressions. So the formula itself is super lightweight. It went in really easily. It feels so good on the skin. I would recommend that you use this as a moisturizer alone if you are oily skin. It doesn't have an obnoxious level of shine either. And from what I've read in the reviews, this should dry down to be a semi-matte or a matte finish, which we'll check in 2 hours. So far, so good. It took about 15 to 20 seconds of rubbing it in to get it all in, which is fantastic. And I'm going to look forward to seeing what the results look like in 2 hours. All right, it's been 2 hours. Let's see how the sunscreen's doing. All right, so UV camera check. In terms of just looking at it, it looks like the coverage has definitely gotten lighter in the skin fold here. Some places it looks pretty good, but it's not as rich as it was 2 hours ago. On my nose, it's doing great. You see how dark that is? And then relative to that, other places like this has definitely gotten lighter. All right, well, let's reapply and see how it does. And here's the true test. Okay, so it actually did not do too bad relative to how it was. So you see up here, I mean, obviously I'm layering on the formula thickly. There's not too much of a difference in how dark the earlier applied sunscreen is to the freshly applied sunscreen. But down here, you can definitely see that difference. I'll put more down here where what I'm applying goes on super dark versus what was earlier there. So some breakdown in the formula, which all that really means is you've got to be diligent in reapplying every 2 hours. So let me get this all over my face and I will then show you how it does being reapplied and whether there's any pilling at all. In terms of up here too, you can see the formula is actually held up pretty well on my forehead. So this is what it looks like. Let me just rub it in and let you know how easily it does or doesn't go on. Okay, less than 30 seconds of rubbing it in and it's completely soaked in. It actually dried down to a very nice semi-matte finish and it still had a little bit of dewiness to it the first go around. This go around feels the same. There was no pilling. I'm rubbing still, and look at this. I've had my skincare and that first round of sunscreen applied on it. There's absolutely nothing that comes off. So I think it's a great formula. I really, really like how hydrating it feels on the skin. I'm very, very impressed. At the same time, it's very lightweight as well. It did not feel greasy in the slightest. As a barrier repairing sunscreen, it's 100% a yes. And even as a regular day-to-day sunscreen, I think this is really very good. 100% MamaG approved.